Well, hello, whoever, wherever, whenever you are. Welcome to wheelchair quilting. No, I'm not in a wheelchair. And no, this is not about making lap robes for people who are in wheelchairs. This is about understanding what people face if you have difficulty with mobility, particularly getting up, moving from the work table to the ironing board, working on a machine like this, anything like that. But if you're mentally alert, or someone you love is mentally alert, has good hand and eye mobility, then I'm teaching techniques of quilting, just thread and needle, hand sew quilting, that are good for somebody in that situation. So you're not required to be jumping up and down from the table to the ironing board and all that other stuff. So from time to time I'm going to make a video like this one where I show a technique where you can get a design without having to use all the bells and whistles, the rotary cutter and 5,000 different rulers and all that stuff. That's good stuff, but people who are not mobility impaired don't realize how difficult that can be for other people. And so this is going to be about the 8-point star. Yeah, I got one right here. This technique does not require templates, rulers, laying things out on the table. You can do this technique sitting in your wheelchair, or, well, any chair. Okay, well, you can do this sitting in one place. You take, well, before I show you the technique, let me show you what I made with it. But this is based on a 10-inch square, okay? And forgive me for leaving the window open, but it gets stuffy in here, and I don't feel like turning on the air conditioner. Now here is an 8-point star, and I'm going to show you exactly how I made it. Okay, first you take your 10-inch square, you fold it in half to make a long rectangle. You fold that in half. Let me do this in front of the camera. You fold it in half to make a rectangle. Then you fold that in half to make a strip. Then you fold that in half this way. You see what I've done? Now, you can cut it from this position, but an even easier way to cut it is to fold it in half again, so you end up with a thick square. Now, you can just sort of press it down with your hands. Take a good sharp pair of scissors. Oh, excuse me, it's getting breezy in here. Measuring, you see how you've got some cut ends on one, but this is all fold. So you want your point up there. You're going to measure from the corner to the middle point up here. Of course, it would be better, I suppose. I'm going to mark it with a pen. Usually I use chalk if I feel like I need a mark, but for the camera we'll do it with an ink pen. Okay, and you really don't have to mark it. I'm just doing this to explain things better. But you see that I didn't even use a ruler. I just eyeballed it from the midpoint down to here. The fat part on the bottom. Now, I just take these scissors. They have to be good sharp scissors to get through this many layers. There we go. There we go. Now, let's pull it apart and see what I've got. These are not perfect because I'm doing it up in the air in front of the camera, but with a little bit of care, you can do it more precisely. And if you've got a fold, oh, that's not a fold, okay. I thought it was a fold, but it is cut. You end up, sometimes it holds on there, okay. Now you end up with a bunch of diamonds. Now this is, like I say, this is uneven because I'm doing it all up like this. Normally, obviously, it wouldn't be that difficult. But you just pull them apart. And you've got your, oh, I should have, hold on a second. Okay, so you just put your squares together. I don't use a knot. I do a little back stitch to get started. Pull it up. There we go. And I can make, when I'm just using this lightweight cotton, it's easy to make tiny little running stitches. So sewing by hand, you still end up with a good strong seam because you're making these tiny little running stitches and you're putting that back stitch, whoops, to lock it in place. Okay, I've got half the star almost done here. Now I did that first polka dot star that I showed you at the beginning of this video. I did that just fooling around this morning, thinking to myself, there's got to be a way to just automatically cut the right angle diamond for an 8-point star. And just fooling around, it didn't take me long to make that polka dotted one. Now, using the same purpley color wave. Okay, here's half. Now, yeah, it's a little wonky because that's me. I'm wonky. But the wonkiness can be quickly compensated for in the fold, so you can get the right angle of the 8-point star just by, you know, folding it a little better. There's the other one that I made. So this is the one that I made earlier. And you could see how quickly it goes. And like I say, this is for, you know, anyone who, well, you don't even really need to be mobility impaired. You might just be like me, prefer to simply sit in a chair and watch videos and sew quietly, and also it's obviously highly portable, and everything I need to make these little squares I keep in one of these little bags. So I've got a few purple shades that I pulled out of a large layer cake, and that's really, all you need to do. And after a while, you have a collection of 8-point stars. You can do what you want with them. You can keep going and make a Lone Star quilt out of it, or you can put different kinds of little squares and whatnots around them to make different, those barn star patterns. A lot of them work off that. Oh, also, I forgot to show you. You get a lot of little extra pieces. Now, out of one 10-inch square, I got the one 8-point star, plus, for some reason, it leaves 3 other diamonds, which I thought was odd. Strange to get an odd number. But then you have all these little triangle pieces. And obviously, when you start mixing the colors, you can start making the various embellishments that can go around a star, or just put them aside to use in a different quilt pattern. And it's all, it's all friendly to armchair hand sewing approach to quilting. So I've got this one ready to go, and I'm ready to pick that up. No, I do have, oh no, that's the star itself. Okay. So, now here I go. I've got a good little quilt start right there. Throw in a spool of thread, some mini little tiny snips, and you've got a portable project. So that's my little bit for wheelchair quilting. I'm gonna do a series like this. They're different traditional pieces that can be done this way. That's the 8-point star. And thank you for showing up. Hope you enjoyed this video. Please do all the good stuff. Subscribe if you're not already. Share, comment, even if it's a snarky comment. It's letting the algorithm know that somebody cares. And they got a new thing now called hype. I don't know if that'll show up on my videos, because I'm not monetized, so that might have something to do with people who are monetized. And I don't intend to ever get monetized, because I don't feel like dealing with all that. I'd rather just do what I do. Every so often I get a bunch of quilts together and have a little trunk show sale. But, and that's probably not going to happen till next fall at this point. I've got a whole lot of projects that will be done by then. But, anyway, quit your bitching, keep on stitching. Denise Matteau, over and out.